Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode we'll be taking a look at the victory trigger for the Browning Buckmark from Tandemkross. Now this is the third video in the series of Tandemkross products. Again, the first one was the plate here on the bottom of the magazine. This has been safety checked, by the way, but we added that extra base plate, and then we added the halo charging ring so we could make chambering around much easier than trying to grip that slide, especially an important feature for people who have arthritis, maybe older people that just can't, or younger folks that just don't have the strength yet to properly manipulate the firearm. And in this video today we're going to go ahead and install this trigger, so I'm going to take you back in time when I'm actually putting it in. Before we start anything, we'll go ahead and lock back the slide and take the magazine out. And you can see my snap cap popped out because you're not supposed to dry fire the Browning Buckmark unless you have a snap cap in there. So go ahead and make sure that we are empty. And then we'll go ahead and grab our victory trigger. And you can see it comes with a Allen key, the trigger, and a overtravel screw that's in there. We could go ahead and take that out so you can see. Other things that you want before you start, you want to go to the Tandemkross website, tandemkross.com/install, where they have all their manuals, and print out the manual. I have mine right here. I also found a video by Tandemkross on YouTube on how to do it step by step, and I'll try to show you how I've done it also, so you'll have another means of going back and checking all that out. So again, you see we have the trigger and the Allen key, as well as the overtravel screw. It's real small so don't lose it. Now, other things that you're going to need is you're going to need a screwdriver. Because you're going to go ahead and remove the grip, so make sure you have a very tight fitting. When I mean a tight fitting, you want something that fits that screw perfectly, because if you have something that's loose, you're going to start marring up that screw. So it's good to get like a set. I got a B-square complete set of all different kinds of screws and stuff, so I don't mess up my firearms. You're going to need a little hammer. Be good to get a little magnet to pull things out, because we are going to be taking some parts out. You want to get some sort of Loctite. It's up to you what you want to use, but you're going to use that on the overtravel screw, so once you get it set, it won't back out or do anything weird. You need a brass punch, because there is a pin that we have to punch out. Other things which are useful, also some tweezers, something to help pry pieces out is always good to have around. Some needle nose pliers, and a roll of tape, because you're just going to set the firearm on top of it when you're drifting out the pin. Now you want to go ahead and pre-install your overtravel screw. Very hard to see, but this is where the Allen key goes. You want that pointing on the same side as your trigger face, and we'll go ahead and just thread that in there. You don't want to put it all the way in there. You just want to get it enough so you can adjust it after the fact. So we'll just go ahead and put that in here and use the supplied Allen key to just get it started down in there. And again, you could use Loctite after if you want to make this permanent so it doesn't move. Then we're going to grab our safety checked firearm and remove the screws that are holding the in this case the wraparound grips. So we'll go ahead and take these screws out. Okay. Put those in a safe place where you don't lose it, and we'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Now we're going to go ahead and actually remove these grips, since these are wraparound. It's going to be a little bit harder than if you have the ones that are just holding one on each side. So we'll just go ahead and work this off. to get this around the magazine release there. It helped by pressing that down a little bit. And I could see a part already came out. Alright, we're getting there. Come on, you can do it. There we go. We're almost there. Alright. There's our grip. If you're using this as an instructional video, this part was right here, just like that, and that was the spring for the magazine release, as you could see right there. So if it didn't fall out, then you could go ahead and remove those pieces. That probably will fall out. It's easy if you use a little magnet thing. You could see the mag release button and its spring just came out there. Next we'll go ahead and get this spring underneath this bar. That's where tweezers come in handy. Next we'll go ahead and get the trigger bar right there. Again, these magnets come in really handy, and we have like a trigger bar spring of some sort right there. Now we'll go ahead and turn this over and get the bolt hold open. Next you want to get your armor's block or a roll of tape and go ahead and just set this on here. So we'll go ahead and drift out the first pin, and the punch that I have is too big. Let me get a smaller one. Okay, you want to drift this out left to right. Make sure that your trigger's sort of all the way forward, because you don't want to be pounding on the side of the trigger there. You want to be pounding on the pin. There we go. I'll go ahead and let you see that pin. Now we'll go ahead and remove the bottom pin. There we go. And now we could remove the trigger. So now I could stop just for a moment and reflect on the old gold trigger. One of the hallmarks of the Buckmark, like it or not. Me personally, I've never liked this gold trigger. You could see the face, you know, a little bit of work has gone into it, how they tapered and rounded that face and put some grooves in there to help, but for some people that really doesn't give you a lot of control. It feels good, but it really doesn't give you a lot of control. But here, you could get this trigger either with the checkering that you see on here, or you could get it where it's completely smooth. Goodbye, gold trigger. So now it's time to put the victory trigger in. So we'll go ahead and turn this back over. Get our armor's drifter block there. And just set this right here. And then we'll go ahead and just sort of swing the trigger in, just like that. Kind of hard to work around the camera, but there we go. And what we want to do is go ahead and get the holes all aligned. You could use your punch there before you go trying to jam the pin down in there. So now we go right to left because we took it out left to right. Alright. You can see that went right in nice and easy. The pin is essentially held in by the grips. Now the other one we'll have to go ahead. You see how that pin is right there? You can see that hole. So we want to get the pin into that hole right there. And in case you lost track, it's the smaller of the two pins you drifted. The one we just put in there first is a little bit thicker, and this one's a little bit thinner. We'll go ahead and get that pin in. Again, make sure the I guess the trigger's sort of forward, and go ahead and get that down in there. And you want to knock this in until it doesn't move anymore. Alright. Oops. Alright. Okay, let's see if the trigger moves. And you can see I went too far because now the trigger doesn't move. So we'll have to adjust. So we'll go ahead and turn this over and work it back just a little bit. And you know, it just needs a little bit of adjusting. Just tap it until it pivots. I think we're almost there. There we go. And it's kind of important that that pin is still sticking up a little bit, because when you put this trigger bar back on here, because it's pivoting on this bottom pin, and then the bar is up here, that hole that was on the bar, see how that is? Alright, let me go ahead and just take this bar out because I just wanted to show you that. Now we'll go ahead and put the magazine disconnect in. Let me zoom out a bit. The video that Tandemkross did is probably a little bit smoother than mine. Now we'll go ahead and put this magazine. You need to press up on this plunger just a little bit to get the spring worked in there. There we go, and we just sort of rest that down in there like that. Alright, and now we could go ahead and grab that trigger bar and put that in. Make sure it's seated around that pin there and it's underneath that spring, the magazine disconnect spring, as you can see. Now we got to get this spring put back into the groove here. So we'll go ahead and put it in there like that. And we'll go ahead and just work it under just like that, just the way it was before we took it apart. Okay, let's go ahead and put the magazine release in and its spring. That's the way that goes, just like that. So now it's time to go ahead and start putting the grips on. And yes, I know I haven't done something on the other side yet. That's coming. So we'll go ahead and carefully get these halfway on. Sort of trying to hold everything from falling out on that side. What you want to do is go ahead and get the magazine hold open. You can see there's a hole in there and there's a spring right there. And that spring, you can see that it comes out a little bit right there. You want that in the, make sure that's in the hole when you put that down like that. See? You can see the spring poking through there. And now we could go ahead and work the grips back on like that. And hopefully everything did not fall out. Of course, you could go back on the other side and just make sure everything is still in place. If it is, you could just sort of get it in place. Now we'll go ahead and get your screws and screwdriver. I don't think we need that anymore. Go ahead and get our screwdriver and put the grip screws back in. Now it's time to function check things, so we'll go ahead and grab a magazine, put a couple of snap caps, aka dummy rounds, in there. Make sure you don't have any real 22 bullets in the room, just to be safe. Go ahead and pop these in, just like that. And go ahead and point it in a safe direction. And we'll make sure it works. Okay. Alright, works. And it should, we could go ahead and test the magazine release if you still have it in there. You can see it doesn't work. So the magazine release, the magazine safety still works. Go ahead and pop that back in. Actually, you know what? I want to make sure that the hold open. So I'm going to go ahead and just cycle one more round here. Just make sure that the hold open works. So we'll go ahead and, okay, one more. That should be the last round of that magazine. Nope, there is one more. There we go. Hold open still works. So now the next thing we want to do is go ahead and adjust the overtravel of that trigger. Now they gave you that Allen key. There we go. And you notice it's very short on the other side, and we'll go ahead and adjust that, and until we get it to where the overtravel is where you want it to be. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll be right back. One thing I forgot to mention, we'll go ahead and grab some Loctite. And that one's empty, so I'm going to have to go ahead and, luckily I grabbed another one. And we'll just put a little bit on there on the screw before we start screwing things down. And we'll go ahead and adjust it where we want it. Okay, so I went ahead and got the screw, the overtravel screw set. I probably could have started with it more in than sitting there trying to quarter of a turn, work it all the way in. You could start a lot earlier or a lot further than I did. So let's go ahead and take a look. Got rid of most of the overtravel right there. Pretty neat, huh? And I'll tell you, it feels completely different, and it does feel like you have more control. I do like that. Let's go ahead and try that. So, and it does bring your finger a little bit more forward, because the old trigger, where did I put it? Here we go. See, the old trigger was a lot further back. Let's take a look at that, where that trigger was. So you're starting way back here, and you do feel like you have more control, and you can utilize the bottom of the trigger if you wanted to, where you have, since it's further out on that leverage of the pivot point, you could really get some fine control, where the old trigger, since it's rounded, you can't really, work it as nicely as you can here. And I could almost just sort of use my finger right there. I mean, really nice. Good option. For some people, they'll find the old one better. For some people, they'll find this one better. Now, another thing I want to point out, don't use my video as a guide to do installation. I just want to sort of show you that somebody who's not an armor or very skilled with firearms can eventually figure things out. I do recommend, and I did provide the link in the description box below, the instructions that are very detailed. And also, if you just search Tandemkross on YouTube, you'll find Tandemkross's installation guide, and it's like 1,000 times better than mine. And really, I'm just sitting here reviewing all these products that are from Tandemkross, and I gotta say, so far, I am so happy with everything. The ring, I'll tell you, out of everything so far, this ring is just a godsend. I mean, it makes chambering around so much easier, I mean, it's great. And that base plate, really nice. Trigger, just some awesome upgrades available by Tandemkross. So now that I'm all finished, I'm just sitting back here just thinking that I got a race gun here. It just looks incredible. It functions better. It feels better. Really incredible. Yeah, I put my finger on the trigger. Safety checked, and I got a dummy round in there, but you shouldn't do it. But I'm telling you, I love the products from Tandemkross. I really love it. And again, never a big fan of big, bright, flashy gold trigger, although, it was good. But I think that this trigger, way better. Again, it's preference. It's all about the way you shoot, where you want your trigger. I got to put my finger on the trigger just to show you. It moves your finger forward when you're in the middle, and it really allows you to use the entire face of that trigger up and down. And you got that texture there. Again, if you don't want the texture, the checkering in there, you could get the smooth face if you'd like. It's hollowed out. It's lightweight. Fit perfect. You know, of course, every gun is slightly different, especially older versions of whatever gun that you're getting the victory trigger for. So there might be a little bit of, you know, what do you call it, gunsmithing involved or whatever. But again, the folks at Tandemkross will help you out. Just contact them. And you don't have to have the Browning Buckmark. Tandemkross has products for a whole bunch of different firearms. And some of them, actually the victory trigger has additional feature. I think it's the Smith & Wesson 22 Victory. It actually has a not only an overtravel but undertravel screw. So you have like 2 adjustments that you can make on it. But I am very happy. I highly recommend this. $35, and it's just a world of difference. And you can get all these products. Sometimes they have the whole trio in a deal. I don't know if that's going on at the time when you're watching this video, but go to the site, check it out. Sometimes they sell all 3 of the things, the base plate, the halo ring, and the trigger together as a bundle. And of course, as you know, bundles, you usually get a good deal because you're getting all 3. So highly recommended. Check them out. The links are below. The manual, I provided a link. Look at the manual. Look at the video. Don't use mine as instructional. Mine is to demonstrate that any moron can figure it out with a little skill, because I'm an IT computer guy, not the most mechanically inclined individual, and it turned out good. So hopefully I'll have a 4th video in this series where we go ahead and check everything out on the range and put some lead down range to make sure that we do a real function check. Whenever you do upgrades like this, especially when you're messing with the internals like the trigger, you really absolutely need to get to the range and do a real function check to make sure everything is a-okay. Alright, well, thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I really do appreciate every friend, viewer, subscriber, and especially you. And I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.